6 seconds into the season and somebody already emptied the drama bucket right onto the turf. Picture it. Kickoff, a patched-up crowd, the smell of warm pretzels and fresh turf, and then, before a single offensive snap, the stadium's rhythm breaks. Jalen Carter, one of the Eagles' defensive anchors, is walking off the field, helmet in hand, ejected. For what? Spitting on Dak Prescott. And suddenly the opener isn't about schemes or play calls. It's about something dirtier and louder. Spit, pride, and the kind of petty violence that turns a game into a narrative you can't stop watching. The clip that blasted across feeds is short and ugly. Prescott leans in, the camera catches him directing saliva toward the Eagles, more of an outward gesture than a direct hit. Carter answers, and that second spit lands on Prescott. Replay shows officials saw Carter's spit as the escalatory act, and they pulled the red card. Immediate disqualification for unsportsmanlike conduct. No warning, no second chances. 6 seconds in, Philadelphia is suddenly a man down. You can debate the calls all night. Replays complicate everything. But let's sit with what it means in human terms. This wasn't a helmet-to-helmet hit or a bone-crunching tackle. It was interpersonal heat. Two grown men, both elite athletes who train for pain and pressure, chose to settle a tiny grievance with something small and contemptuous. Spitting is primitive. It's a deliberate insult. It says, "I despise you." And in a sport where control and respect are currencies, that exchange burned a hole through the opening ceremonies. There's immediate football fallout. The ejection gifted the Cowboys a 15-yard penalty and field position that turned into a touchdown 6 plays later. That's not hypothetical. Momentum swung with the cost of a mouthful. For Philadelphia, it wasn't just losing Carter's talent. He's a defensive linchpin, the kind of player who collapses pockets and makes game plans change. You don't replace that on the fly. The Eagles' rotation, their pass rush plans, their ability to choke off the run, all of that took a hit before the first whistle. In short, the fight wasn't just emotional. It was tactical malpractice. Let's be honest about the optics, too. This is the opening of a season. Coaches preach discipline during training camp. Every rookie learns that unsportsmanlike acts aren't just embarrassing, they're costly. Yet the first teachable moment of the year became a teachable moment for the wrong reason. Fans on both sides will grind the same takes. He should have shown restraint. If Prescott spit first, fine, but Carter escalated. Why did this have to happen on national TV? The sport becomes fodder for moralizing, and the players become exhibits. There's a layered history here, though. These two franchises have been trading barbs for decades. Rivalries are built on repeated indignities, cheap shots, late hits, anthem row stuff, and now we add a spit that will live in highlight packages and heated group chats. Rivalry doesn't start in a vacuum. It's curated by moments like this. For younger fans, it's a new chapter. For old-timers, it's another line in a ledger of bad blood. The Cowboys get a Week 1 adrenaline shot. The Eagles get the hollow sound of a locker room test. Personnel-wise, losing Jalen Carter is brutal. He's not just a stat on an injury report. He's a presence. Last season, he was the kind of force who could flip a play on its head. Sacks, tackles for loss, pressures that cause turnovers. Removing him forces coordinators to adjust blitz packages, to ask rotational pieces to log snaps they might not be ready for, and to accept smaller margins on run defense. Those are coaching headaches that show up in the second and third quarters, when fatigue sets in and the lack of depth gets exposed. Another angle, officiating and consistency. The league's officiating crews saw what they saw and acted, but the conversation after the game will be about equal punishment. If Prescott initially spat, why wasn't he ejected too? Why the asymmetry in enforcement? In an era where optics are everything, fairness matters not just to teams, but to the public's trust in the league. NFL discipline needs to look principled, otherwise narratives of favoritism or incompetence take root overnight. And then there's the raw human drama. How do you repair this? Players are paid to compete, but they're also adults in a public profession. The Eagles lose their best defender for a night, maybe more if the league hands further discipline, must answer questions about judgment. Prescott must decide whether to amplify the incident or let it recede. Coaches must clean the room, and PR teams must manage the fallout. This is leadership testing itself in real time. The special team scuffles that followed only poured gasoline on the fire. Flags, push and shove, unnecessary roughness, the petty evolved into collective chaos. The sequence makes you wonder, was the whole day a pressure cooker waiting to explode? Injuries on kickoff, players already emotional, and then spit. Everything was calibrated to combust. Let's not pretend there are easy heroes here. Both men are elite. Both matter to their teams. Both will be analyzed for motive, body language, and intent. But sports fans love narratives, especially those about honor and vengeance. The image of a player walking off in a tunnel, helmet under arm, is cinematic. It will be replayed, sliced, and re-examined in endless hot takes. The league will inevitably weigh in. Fines or suspensions could follow. Either way, the image of Carter leaving before the first snap is a scar that will shape the rivalry's tone this season. So what's the takeaway? The season opener was supposed to be a cacophony of fresh begins, new plays, new schemes, baby-faced rookies, and hopeful veterans. Instead, it became an old story told in a new spit. Discipline is a team value until it isn't. Pride is an asset until it turns into liability. And in pro sports, there's always a cost for letting emotion make the first move. If you want one line to carry into every debate and Baroom argument this week, football games are won in yards and minutes, but seasons are ruined in moments of poor judgment. 6 seconds of heat changed the first page of the season's calendar. Now everyone has to live with the ink. 6 seconds into the season, the Eagles opener exploded into chaos. Pro Bowl defensive tackle Jalen Carter was ejected after spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, and NBC replays later showed Prescott had spat first toward the turf in the direction of Eagles players before Carter retaliated by spitting directly on Prescott. Officials told a pool reporter during a second-half weather delay that they saw Carter spit on Prescott, which prompted the immediate disqualification for unsportsmanlike conduct. The flag cost Philadelphia 15 yards, giving Dallas a short field at their own 47. 6 plays later, Javonte Williams punched it in for a 7-0 Cowboys lead. The sequence unfolded after the opening kickoff. An injury on the return delayed the first snap. Both units shuffled on and off the field, and tensions flared between Prescott and Carter in the tunnel area. NBC's broadcast captured both spits, and game officials sided with what they observed on the field. Carter's action was deemed ejection-worthy. Losing Carter so early was a brutal blow for Philadelphia. He's the anchor of an elite defensive line coming off a Super Bowl run. In 2024, he posted 4.5 sacks, 16 QB hits, 12 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. And his presence is a major reason the Eagles can disrupt both the run and pass. Being down that edge force immediately put Philadelphia at a structural disadvantage against a Dallas offense built to score quickly. Tempers didn't cool after the ejection. Later, in the first quarter, a scuffle broke out on special teams following a kickoff tackling multiple unnecessary roughness flags, 2 on Dallas players, and further churning the rivalry's bad blood. No additional ejections were issued, but the physical tone of the game was set early. This incident raises immediate questions about discipline and optics. Prescott's initial spit toward the ground, but in the direction of Eagles players, and Carter's retaliatory act both reflect how quickly emotions can escalate between heated rivals. The onus will now be on the league to review the exchange and determine whether supplemental discipline is warranted. Football is back, and with it the raw, unfiltered drama between the Cowboys and Eagles. What's your take? Was Carter's ejection justified given Prescott spit first, or should both players face further punishment? Drop your reaction below.